A little over a week ago, Theoretical Bullshit uploaded a video going into some more detail about his objections to William Lane Craig's defense of the Kalam Cosmological Argument. And I wanted to draw your attention to that video if you haven't seen it, and give something of a TLDW since it is about 26 minutes long, and add a couple of notes to some of the things he said. William Lane Craig asserts that the universe had to have a cause because it is absurd to think that the universe came into existence by nothing and from nothing. And I agree that this is a hard thing to wrap your head around. The theistic solution to this problem, though, is that the universe came into existence by something, God, but still from nothing. Theoretical Bullshit essentially contends that one is really no less philosophically problematic than the other. If it is absurd to think that the universe could spontaneously pop into existence out of nothing, how is it any less absurd to think that an entity could make the universe pop into existence out of nothing? Both seem equally incomprehensible. Scott calls this metaphysical cherry-picking. Craig maintains the absurdity of the idea that is contrary to his view, but denies the absurdity of the idea that matches his view. He tries to make excuses for this inconsistency, but none of them really work. But even if you grant the premise that an entity could cause the universe to pop into existence out of nothing, why does this entity need to be a disembodied conscious mind? At another point, Scott quotes Craig as explaining that it is incoherent to assert that matter and energy can exist timelessly like God does, because matter and energy are always changing and therefore are necessarily temporal. Craig believes instead that the entity that created the universe had to be an immaterial conscious mind. Scott rightly points out that conscious minds are also always changing, therefore wouldn't God also be necessarily temporal? To that I just wanted to add that Craig actually denies this assertion. He believes that a conscious mind can actually be entirely changeless. This is retarded, of course, because if you take away all of the temporal processes and events that make up consciousness, thoughts, perceptions, emotions, etc., you take away consciousness itself. Thinking alone is a process. So Craig seems to want us to believe in an entity which is conscious, but which doesn't think. How the fuck does that make any sense? The idea of a timeless, changeless consciousness is at least as incoherent as the idea of timeless, changeless matter and energy.